for tonight? There are certain things at school that everyone experienced. Like, I don't care what school you went to or even where it was. We all experienced the same tragedies. Pop quizzes, presentations, getting called on for no reason. Like, why was this all universal? So today, we're exposing all of the unavoidable school experiences. And I guarantee that you have experienced them all. So, let's get to it. Starting off with the worst one, we have oral presentations. Because explain to me why the second you get to the front of the class, your entire body just malfunctions. Like, you can be completely fine sitting down, you understand everything, you memorize your lines, you know that you're gonna be okay. But the second you stand up there, your mind, it just turns off. Your heart starts beating like you just ran a marathon, your hands don't even feel like your hands anymore, and your voice just betrays you. It either goes super quiet like you're whispering a secret to somebody, or it starts shaking like you're on the verge of tears. And of course you notice it because you're now super highly aware of how horrible your voice sounds. So you're up there kind of panicking now because you're like, great, everyone thinks I'm an absolute weirdo. So now you don't even know what to say anymore. And eye contact, don't even get me started. Because if you look at people, it's awkward. But if you don't, it seems like you don't know what you're doing. So there's really no middle ground here. So you just end up looking at the teacher, looking at one random student, looking at the wall, and kind of doing a weird rotation. Overall, it's just horrible. Like, I remember one time I had a presentation and it went so disastrously wrong. Like, I practiced multiple times and I even knew the lines like the back of my hand. But when I get up there, I start talking in my mind, it just shuts off. So I just stopped talking. And it wasn't just a small pause either. No, like it was complete silence. So I'm just standing up there trying to figure out what I'm saying, and I'm like, French, And honestly, moments like that happen all the time in school. Like constant little stress over and over again. And I know for me at least, that kind of stress really starts to build up. Like it wasn't just about one test anymore, one assignment. It turned into me overthinking, feeling anxious over small things, and not really knowing how to deal with it. And that's when I realized I couldn't just ignore it anymore. I actually had to learn how to properly control it. And especially as a student, it's really important to understand how to deal with that stress. So that's why this part of the video is a paid collaboration with BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that connects you with a credentialed therapist. You basically fill out a questionnaire, and they connect you with someone based on your preferences and their experience. Which is actually really important because finding the right person makes a very big difference in therapy. And for me, talking to a therapist really helped me with my overthinking and my anxiety. It truly, truly did make a difference in my life. Because instead of just sitting there overwhelmed, you actually understand what's going on in your brain and how to deal with it. One thing that I learned from my therapist that really helped me was to slow down in moments that my brain was really overthinking and going crazy. Like I remember one time I was taking a test and I realized I didn't know a lot of the answers, and that really caused me a lot of anxiety. So instead of making things worse, I took a pause and I focused on my breathing. I then brought my attention to just one question on the test instead of focusing on everything. And this allowed me to really just calm my nervous system. And it sounds simple, but it really, really helps. So if you've been thinking about trying therapy, or even if you just want to better understand yourself, or learn how to deal with stress like this, you can click the link in the description, or go to betterhelp.com/AnnieCharlie for 10% off your first month. Anyway, presentations were bad, but getting caught on your phone was a different kind of fear. Because you always think you're slick. Like you have your phone underneath your desk, you're not even really looking at it, and you're kind of just like, you're being nonchalant, right? You're just scrolling, but it doesn't seem like you're scrolling. You think you're invisible, but then you look up and you notice that your teacher has been watching you the entire time, and they know you're on your phone. And they don't even say anything right away either. They just hold the eye contact. The very, very awkward eye contact. And now your stomach drops because you know that they know and you know what's about to come. They're gonna call you out. So now you have to put your phone away very slowly to make it seem like, hey, I wasn't actually on my phone, even though you were. And then, you try to act focused again like you were truly paying attention, so you give them the yeah, I know what you're talking about. I wasn't actually on my phone. And then they finally ask you, Charlie, what's the answer? And they're only doing this because they know that you don't know the answer. So they want to call you out. They're being mean. So now the whole class stares and looks at you like you're a menace to society. And because you don't know what the topic is, you gotta guess. Is it 12? We're in English class. Now, this next one actually makes no sense. Because how do you miss one day of school? One! And suddenly, everything in the universe happens on that day. You come back and it feels like you've missed 3 months. People are talking about things you've never even heard of. There's new assignments, new inside jokes, the seating plan changed, and the entire school is just somehow different overnight. And when you ask people what happened, they have the audacity to say,
I don't know, nothing really, I don't remember.
Like what? No, clearly things have happened. I missed literally the entire year somehow in one day. Because somehow there's 3 tests announced, a whole project assigned, the teacher explained something super important that everyone understands except for you. Half the class is like ahead 4 grades. Like, what do you mean nothing happened? It generally feels like when you're gone, Taylor Swift showed up and performed an entire concert in the gym. Mr. Beast gave out $10,000 to everybody. He went to Disneyland, and the teacher was in such a good mood that she gave no homework, free snacks, and free time all day. Like, seriously, this stuff only happens when you aren't there. Because if I would have known, I would have come to school if it was gonna be the best day ever. And it's even worse when you actually try. Like, you study, you sit there for hours at home just reviewing things. You go over everything, your notes, the teacher's notes, just literally every single source of material that we were taught. And you're like, okay, I think I'm actually ready for this. You go to sleep feeling prepared and maybe even a little bit confident. But then, the next day, you go sit at your desk, you're handed the test, and your brain, it's wiped. It goes blank. Like, you read the first question and nothing is familiar. You don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Which is so incredibly infuriating because you spent literally 7 hours studying. How can you not know this? So now you're just sitting there staring at the paper when anxiety creeps up into your chest because you don't know what's happening. Like, you're literally begging your mind to remember. You're like, please, I know we went over this. Just remember. But nothing comes to mind. It's still blank. And then you start panicking a little bit because you notice people are moving on. They're moving on from that question, but you're still stuck in it because your brain is betraying you. It's literally so stressful for no reason. But yeah, speaking of stress, pop quizzes were the worst because teachers would randomly decide one morning, hey class, pop quiz time! Like what? Pop quiz? At 8 a.m. in the morning? Are you kidding me? Like, I'm not even fully awake yet. And they always say it so casually too. Like, what? This is not a casual announcement. This is war. And the worst part is, the moment they say it, the entire class just goes silent because everyone is so collectively angry and in shock. You can literally feel the confusion in the room. Everyone's like, what? What's going on? And you start thinking, wait a second, what is even going to be on this pop quiz? Because it can be from last class, last week, something the teacher mentioned once in passing. Like, seriously, who even knows? It could be even something the teacher never even mentioned because, you know, they love to do that. So now you're flipping through your notes, hoping that can somehow help you, but you know it won't. You're doomed. I remember one time I had a pop quiz and I was already annoyed, okay? Because it was like 8:30 a.m. I was tired, I didn't want to be there, and you're throwing a pop quiz at me? No. But whatever, I was thinking, okay, maybe it'll be easy. It's just a pop quiz. Maybe we'll be fine. But of course not. Of course not. We're in school. So I get the pop quiz. I don't recognize a single thing on that. It's gibberish. It's gibberish.
It doesn't make sense to me.
So I'm just there, and I give up. I think I handed it in after like 5 minutes because I didn't know what was going on. But hey, I was thinking that maybe I would still pass it and still get a decent grade. No. I got it back the next day, and I got a 5%. 5%. I hate school. And the thing is, even when you try to stay on top of everything, the teachers just move way too fast. Like, they're up there writing notes on the board, and you're at your desk trying to copy everything they're saying, but they keep moving. They just keep moving and moving and moving. They're going from slide to slide to slide, and you're over here you're not even done writing slide 1, and they're in slide 25. So you're just trying to keep up. You're like halfway through a sentence. And of course, they're already erasing what you're trying to write down. So you're like,
wait, I am not done yet.
But you can't say that out loud because if you do, you're basically exposing yourself to the entire class that you're behind, which is, for some reason, embarrassing. So now you're rushing, you're trying to go as fast as you can, like you've turned into a flash. and your handwriting gets progressively worse. It starts off kind of normal, but by the end of the class, it's gibberish.
Oh my God!
You can't even read what you're saying. Like when you go home to study, you're gonna have to be deciphering things because you're not gonna know what anything means. And then after all of that, you go home and there's homework. And not just a little bit either. No. Like full-on mountains. Like Mount Everest-size mountain pile of homework. And it never made any sense either because the teacher will teach you in class, but what they teach you in class is somehow so much easier than your homework. So you're at home struggling because you don't actually know what's going on. And seriously, how and why are we expected to go to school for 7 hours, come home, and do even more work? Are you kidding me right now? Like at what point is it enough? Apparently never. And again, the worst part is the homework never actually matched what the teacher taught. The teacher would be like,
This is so easy. You're gonna have a blast doing it tonight. It's gonna be a breeze.
like on the board they'll do one example and you get it, it's easy, it's straightforward. But then when you go home and do your homework, it's somehow completely different. Like how in class is it like 1 + 1 = 2? And then you go home and it's whatever this is. Homework needs to be banned. Now, moving on, who else has tried not to cough in class? I know I have. You know like when you have that itchy throat and you don't want to cough because if you cough, it's going to disrupt everybody and it's low-key embarrassing. So you try to hold it in, right? But you know that there is no winning this, okay? Because the cough will inevitably come out. But you still try to fight it. You're like,
Stay down. Stay down.
so you do everything you can. You hold your breath, you drink water, you
really don't want to cough, so you're doing everything to prevent that thing from coming out.
like you're sitting there trying to reassure yourself. You're like, it's okay, I don't need to cough. But your throat, it's dying and it needs to cough.
Girl, you know we're gonna cough, right? It has to happen.
So it keeps building and building and your eyes are like watering now because you're kind of in pain trying to keep this down. Your throat is actively fighting you and you're just trying to
You're just staying like this. You're just trying to do anything you can to make sure it doesn't come.
but it's getting worse. And the longer you hold it, the more violent it is becoming. So of course, when it finally has to come out, it doesn't come out in just one little no. Instead, it's like it's so bad. So now the entire class has obviously heard this because it sounded like a demon was coming out of you. So everyone turns and looks at you like you're a disgrace. You are a disgrace to society. And the same thing with your stomach growling. Because it never happens when it's loud. No, it waits. It's patient. Your stomach only wants to make noise when the room is literally dead silent. Like it only happens when the teacher is not talking, everybody is hyper focused on their work. So there is no sound anywhere. And then your stomach just it's like the loudest, most aggressive sound possible. It's like something's inside you trying to punch its way out. Like it's a violent sound. And again, the worst part is your stomach always decides to do this in the worst possible moment. It's like right when the teacher pauses or when everyone's taking
An exam.
like why can't you do it when there's a bunch of noise happening? It always picks the worst time. Seriously.
What is wrong with you?
And even attendance can go wrong because everything apparently has to go wrong in school. Like during attendance, all you have to do is say,
Here.
but for some reason, it never goes down that way. Like your voice, it doesn't work, okay? The teacher will be at the front of the class and they'll be reading off the names like
Johnny, Jessica,
then when they get to you, it's like your brain just doesn't want to work.
Charlie.
And your brain just lags, okay? It's shut off. It's not there. It's gone. It's in space. It's in Mars. It's gone. It is literally gone. So after they called you, nothing comes out. You're not talking for some reason. You're
nonverbal now.
So the teacher says it again.
Charlie.
And now you finally say it, but for some reason it doesn't come out right. It comes out kind of quiet. Here. So now you have to say it louder to make sure the teacher actually heard you. But because you're saying it louder now, it comes out so atrociously gross. Like, why? Why did it come out that way? Why? You basically messed up the easiest word in the English language. Congratulations! So now the teacher's looking at you like you're demented, and the entire class just thinks you're a weirdo. Because quite frankly, I guess you kind of are, because why? Why did you sound like that? Why? Like, I remember one time during attendance, my name got called, and for some reason, my brain just froze. It was gone, it logged off. But when I finally realized that she was talking about me and saying my name, I said, here! I never emotionally recovered. And calling your teacher mom? Whew, that was another level of embarrassment. Like, that one, it stays with you. It is not just a small mistake. It is a humiliation ritual. Because it's never just a quick little,
Whoops, sorry.
no, it becomes this whole ordeal of shame and embarrassment. You know, the teacher's at the front of the class, they're teaching, and you raise your hand and say, hey mom. Mom? And now everyone's just looking at you, and you're embarrassed, and this entire thing just makes you want to crawl into the ground and never come back. And then we had dodgeball. Dodgeball was actually insane because it wasn't treated like a normal game. It was survival because there were always those few people who took it way too seriously. It's like they were going to war. It's like it was their moment that they've been training for their whole life or something. They were throwing balls as hard as they could, just spinning them around like a lunatic. They were like full wind up, full body propel, just like they were going crazy. Like, why are you throwing it like that? We're literally just in gym class. We're in second period. And then now everyone else is trying to survive because we have these crazy people that are just really throwing them at our heads. So you're standing there, trying to dodge balls left and right, trying not to make eye contact with anybody, slowly backing up, hoping that they'll pick someone else as a target. But it's too late. Because Johnny over there, he looks at you, and you know it's your time. You're next! You try to back up, hoping that he won't actually choose you, but he does. Because he takes that ball and he whips it as hard as he can, and it hits you right in the head. And it is the worst pain that you have ever experienced in your life. But because you're in school, you can't admit that it hurts. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And you nod and you smile and you're like, I'm fully good. Meanwhile, inside, you're crying. But yeah, looking back, school is basically just a bunch of very stressful and specific situations that everyone went through. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below because why not? Bye!